So I thought I'd make a little video about how to deal with Christmas, family, friends, difficult situation, emotional pools. In many ways, the simple answer is to stay present in the midst of all antagonists, in the midst of all emotions, and the heat of these dynamics that play themselves out. I mean, they were always there, but they come to the fore during these times. One thing that it always strikes me, and always struck me for years and years around Christmas, is that it really is a time when the unloved child, or the overloved child, or the needy child, the wanting child, the invested child, all of these aspects of us actually come to the fore in so many ways, and they play themselves out. And if you put that together with everybody else, father, mother, sister, uncle, you get this hotbed of a dynamic that plays itself out, and one could quite easily call that a constellation. The constellation of personalities, the dynamic of the family playing itself out in intense ways. This dynamic this constellation is always there, but it's covered up and missed and ignored and maybe made more mild somehow by time and space and distance, and then at Christmas or other pivotal celebrations or commiserations, or births, marriages, events, deaths, all bring things to the surface. If it was in our capacity to stay fully present in those dynamics, in those playing outs, then we would. But boy, we just can't. That's where we see the triggers. That's where the work is. That's where we get to see the real dynamics that are playing out in us, in others, in our siblings, in all of the relationships that we have. We get to see those playing out. That's how you stay present. You stay present by being aware of how these underlying energies are playing themselves out. And you choose to step out of them if you can. It's hard, right? It's going to be hard. It is hard. I remember it well. It's not so hard now. I mean, we don't have any family as such, so we don't really do this. We don't play this game, but my God, for years and years, I was swallowed up by the dysfunctionality and the endless investment that this self had in Christmas and all of that stuff. And it was a terrible time for playing out of those underlying stored up emotions carried from the past. So I know Christmas, I know it well. I know how all these things play themselves out, but for the one who, seeks to walk a conscious path, then we have to see that Christmas is an invitation. These dynamics are invitations to stay in the equanimity of being and to drop any investment of getting anything out of it. Because as long as you're seeking to get something out of it for yourself, then the child is present. And if the child is present, if it doesn't get what it wants, all of these emotions of disappointment and anger, letdown, are going to rear themselves up. It's the time for really increasing the awareness, increasing the equanimity, and see how the family constellation is playing itself out, and how everybody is almost an actor in that constellation. We're almost helpless to step out of the game, to step out of the ritual, the unconscious ritual. It's a powerful teaching. These times in our lives are powerful invitations. They call us to our power, and we have the capacity to meet them. But we must be willing, and we must stay aware and awake to the best of our capacity. Damn it, these skies. Start out clear, and then become filled with a strange haze. I wonder why. So take heart, whatever you're doing at Christmas, whatever you're doing, wherever you're going. And then there's, of course, converse. People who withdraw at Christmas, get more lonely, emotions come up. Of all the times, I think, certainly for, for many, these so-called celebrations, festivities, and all that kind of stuff are all the hotbed of emotion. They're the times when the emotions rise up more. But this is what I'm saying, the times when the emotions rise up more are the times when we need to stay most vigilant and uninvested. If you could simply withdraw your investment, maybe the carried child, I don't know, but withdraw any investment that you have in Christmas and just see it as a time of, if you like, giving or neutrality, or giving from neutrality, or being the carrier of love. Come on, boy. then there's great grace in that. And there's great freedom in that. And then it doesn't become something you have to recover from. I used to be so invested in it. And all my unresolved emotion came up in Christmas. I felt I missed out on something. I easily felt disappointed. I felt panic. I felt excitement tinged with, I don't know what, intrepidation. Christmas was a difficult time at home, filled with, all sorts of tensions. That's the thing, isn't it? It's the tensions, that rise to the surface. But as we grow into equanimity, as you deepen into awareness, so you see and feel these inner tensions coming up, rising up to the surface. It's because they're there. They're not coming out of nowhere. Nothing comes out of nowhere on the human level. So it's incumbent upon us to pay attention. Pay attention. Don't feed, the constellation, your valuable energy. Keep it to yourself. You can step out of your matrix, of your family matrix. You're not glued to the matrix. You're not tied in. It's your choice. It's a freedom you have. Here's another tip. For this period of time, but also for all periods of time. Rise above your neediness and rise above other people's neediness. What is this neediness? Well, it's, as I said, it's the playing out of that which we still feel. Hold on. It's the playing out of the child within, the one who thinks they didn't get what they needed, the one who thinks they need other people to be a certain way, the one who's still angry with mummy or daddy or sister or brother. It's the one who's still engaged in the contract with life, with other people. I've got to have this. I've got to have that. You've got to be like this. You've got to be like that. Neediness is playing a small game, hoping to win big. Doesn't work. And, family dynamics are often made and built and upheld on this neediness, because they're still playing themselves out. These energies are still playing themselves out. And, in a child, in many ways, not always, but a lot of the time, everyone is filled with that neediness, and everyone is still carrying their child, no matter what they look like, no matter how long the pants are, no matter how old they are. It's still the playing out of neediness. And this is a really valuable insight, is to see that if you have the capacity to stay in your authority and rise above neediness, your neediness, their neediness, anybody's damn neediness, then something happens. And it's a challenge, because neediness, you get to see it. Now I've, told you about that. Now you realize it. Now maybe you see it. You're going to see where you lose your equanimity, and you're going to see where you fall into neediness. Study that. Look at yourself. Say, hold on a minute. What in me is built on mature kind of desire, mature knowing, and which part of me is still playing out, particularly in dynamics of relationship. And the family is all about relationship, playing out the neediness, because I've something that I didn't feel that I got when I was a child. And then it kind of brings you back to yourself. And in the family situation, whatever brings you back to yourself, is a blessing, is a grace, because then you can be there fully. It doesn't mean to say you have to withdraw. It doesn't mean to say you have to, be completely detached and some spiritual being. You can be entirely yourself, but just don't go to the neediness place. Don't go there. I know, I'm not going to play the neediness. That's the way. That's the way we kind of grow up within the family context. And you won't like it, and other people won't like it. And they'll be like, there's something wrong with that one because they're not playing the neediness game. And everybody will feel it. And it'll start to trigger them. And you'll get triggered because it triggers them. And so it'll play itself out. Inevitably. There's something inevitable about it all. But, this is a good one. The neediness that we carry around, it lies dormant in a certain way until relationship rears its head and starts asking questions or starts demanding something for themselves. And then there it is. That's a good one. And another thing is, if possible, don't take it too seriously. Don't take any of it too seriously. Don't take any of it so seriously. You can rise above it by not taking it seriously. Oh God. Yes. You can just be playful. You can just be playful. It comes, it goes. Christmas is impermanent and temporary. And all the drama that we bring to it fades. Yeah, as soon as New Year comes along, everything's forgotten. And everything just drifts back to itself. And there we are again. Don't take it too seriously. Remember the love you are. Remember the equanimity of being. Yeah, and the grace that carries all things, including the family dynamics and the friend dynamics and the world dynamics, even in all its chaos and mess. Just stay true somehow and rise above your neediness.